Here's going to demonstrate how to manage a youth invite style registration event as a team manager or coach. So at this point in the registration process, the club administrator has already created the event and posted it to the site for you to register a team to. In the youth invite style, it's a little different where you actually register a team as a coach. You're creating that team and then inviting players and other coaches to register to that team. Whereas in a traditional style, you have the club administrator create the team on the administrator side, and then the registrants will register to an age group category, and from there will then be assigned by a club administrator to the team. In the case of Youth Invite, all of that is done automatically as the coach creates the team, invites the players, and the players are automatically assigned to the team. However, the onus still can go back to the club administrator at any time to unassign players and coaches, collect fees, and really go through that whole management process. But in clubs that have large numbers of players or large numbers of teams, this is a perfect solution. So with that, we're going to go ahead and click Register Now as the coach. We already have a login, so I'm going to go ahead and click My Login. You'll see that we have a category. So these are the categories that you would choose from to register your team. These are the categories that the club administrator has made available for registration. So I'm going to go ahead and do a girls U11 team for registration. I'm going to click Continue to Team /registrant info. Now, when you choose a member, you want to make sure that you're choosing yourself that's going through the registration process. You might have some other household members if you're using a previous account. You don't want to choose your player. You want to choose yourself because you're the team owner. So I'm going to go ahead and click Ryan, click Continue to Registration, and here's where I'm going to enter that team information. So I'm going to go ahead and register this as the Sharks. My club name I want to put as Test. Team gender I want to put as female. Contact name, contact phone. And then you'll see that since I already have an account, my first, middle, and last name is already locked in. But in case any of the other info changed, you're able to go ahead and correct it. Birth date and gender are already locked in as well. So I'm going to put my coaching position in. I want to be the head coach of this team. I don't hold any USSF license. Maybe I hold a New Jersey Youth Soccer F. We enter our driver's license, the expiration date, the driver's license state, if we've been convicted of crimes, which we want to select to no. And then we're going to go ahead and hit Continue. Now, it's going to ask you a question about the DCC. This is if you've taken any online grassroots courses or have taken in the past couple of years any USSF D, C, B's, or A licenses. Since I haven't, this isn't really applicable, but I'm just going to keep email and continue. If we have any coaches to upload or any photos to upload as a coach, we would go ahead and click Choose File and upload it there. But I'm going to skip that process today and click Continue to Waivers. For the coach, you're going to get a waiver that is an authorization for background check. So you want to read through all this information, that way you understand what you're signing. You want to go ahead, click that you've read the authorization and give your permission. And what I'm going to do is create and enter a fake social security number. And I'm going to provide a signature. I'm going to continue to review, and you'll see that we have an itemized registration summary. So I have my team registration and I have my coach registration right here. Now, if the club has decided to charge any fees for that team registration, you'll see it, and that coach registration here, as well as the subtotal. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and click Confirm Registration. And if it works properly, I should get that exact same page just saying completed. So everything looks good on the end of the coaches. We've completed that team registration. Now we're waiting for the club administrator to go ahead and enable Team Connect. When Team Connect's enabled, that's going to allow you to enter in that player first, last, and email address. That way they can accept their invitation and go through the registration process similar to what you just saw, but asking questions of the player instead of the coach. So I'm going to show you a bit of what that looks like. However, you just received an email when you completed the registration that basically had compliance information. So for your CDC heads up training, for your safe sport training, so as a coach or team manager, you want to make sure that you take advantage of that and upload those documents in your member account. To upload those documents, click Return to Member Account. You'll see that I already have these documents in here, but we're going to go ahead and skip to the next part. So once Team Connect is enabled by the club administrator, we're going to click View Team Assignments. You'll see I have a couple demo teams in here. I'm just going to use the boys U9 category that's already been demoed since it's already been enabled. But when the team is enabled, or if you have multiple teams, you'll see under the Tools column the Team Page button, so you can access it as a coach or team manager. So I'm going to go ahead and click Team Page, or in that email you'll see that there's an automatic link to take you to Team Connect. And you'll see that we have a couple of different roster members that have already been added in here. What I'm going to do is go ahead and click Roster on the left-hand side. I want to add new roster members, and I'm going to see a page that has listing for first name, last name, player's email, and then a role. If for some reason you do have this import from another team, it doesn't really work, so there's nothing that you actually need to import from, so just leave that be. Otherwise, you can go ahead and select the role for who you want to begin entering in. So if you want to enter in your coaches and team staff first, you can do that, or if you want to add a player, you can do that as well. So I'm going to add a player. And we have Dan Smith. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in the email. You'll see that another column automatically pops up. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in another one. And every time that I get to the last name column and enter the information, you'll see that another line will pop up. So you continue to add all of your roster members, all of your players, change the role for any coaches because that's going to dictate which form they receive when they go to register. And then when I'm totally complete, I'm going to hit Send Invites and Add Roster Member. Now at that point, the person who you entered in here is going to receive an email that has a code or a link that says to accept or decline their invitation to the team. When they get to the invitation, they'll click Advance and Register, so that accepts the invitation for them, and they'll go through that registration process that looks a little similar to what we just did, but again, it asks the player questions. From there, you're going to see on this page under roster the status of your players. So you'll see that we have a parent that's accepted an invite, but you'll see in terms of the player hasn't accepted the invite. So we would go to the player email at g@g.com, and you'd see that we have an invite there. We can accept it, but you'll see that if we are on the team feed page, or I'm sorry, if we're on the main roster page, we have activated, membership pending, and not activated, membership pending. So since Joe Smith has accepted the invitation, you're going to see that it says activated. However, the membership pending portion has to do with age ID verification. So once they're completely in compliance with New Jersey Youth Soccer policy in terms of being age ID verified and having a photo, you're going to see that this membership is not going to be pending anymore. You can always check the status of age ID verification for your players in Team Connect, and you can do so by clicking Add New Roster Members, viewing the current roster members, and seeing their invite status. So if you know you've invited 18 players and you want to see how many have actually accepted that or who hasn't taken the proper steps to actually register, you would just take those steps of clicking Roster, Add New Members. Additionally, you can print your rosters and medical releases directly through Team Connect. By doing that, you can click Roster, Print Rosters and Medical Releases, Official Stack Sports Medical Release, or for your state roster, you would click Official Stack Sports Full Roster. I hope that helps you in terms of managing your youth invite as a coach, because that's really all there is to it. The club administrator, again, has the onus to unassign coaches and players at any time, but this really is a team-centric style that allows for invites of players and coaches to minimize the impact on a club administrator.